everyone, I'm Carrera and welcome to my channel, The Mental Traveler. I'm going to be reviewing the novel Charlotte Gray, as well as its movie adaptation. The novel was published back in 1999 by Sebastian Faulks, and the film came out in 2001, and it stars Cate Blanchett, Michael Gambon, Billy Crudup, Rupert Penry-Jones, James Fleet, Helen McConroy, and many more. And Anton Lesser. By the way, this will be a review without spoilers. I was introduced to the story of Charlotte Gray through the movie. I can remember when I first saw it, and even though it has never fascinated me, I've thought of it throughout the years as a nice period film that I like. I hadn't seen it in a long time though, but I still thought that I should read the book, so I bought it. There are some differences between the novel and the film, but I'll try to give you a general outline of what the plot is. Charlotte Gray is a young Scottish woman during World War II traveling to London, and on the journey that's taking her to the capital, she comes across a secret agent that realizes she has potential to help them in the war effort. So they sort of hint at her that she should contact them, but before she really gets to think about that, Charlotte meets and falls in love in London with this pilot called Peter Gregory. And because one day he goes missing and she decides to become a spy. She's sent to the French countryside to join the resistance there against the Nazis. And yet when her job is done, one thing leads to another and she decides to stay on living in France under her new alias. And while she's staying in this village in the countryside, she meets a lot of people. For example, two little Jewish boys whose parents have been sent to a concentration camp. She meets other spies, she meets German officers, and so on. I won't say what happens afterwards, but except that there is another love interest that comes into Charlotte Gray's life when she's in France. I give Charlotte Gray a 4 out of 5 stars review, both the movie and the book. There's nothing really wrong with either of them, except in the fact that they don't fascinate me in the way other stories about World War II have done before. I enjoy the film, and while the author's writing style isn't my favorite, the novel grew on me as time went by. So I guess that if you like history, I would recommend Charlotte Gray because it made me think about several aspects of World War II that I hadn't considered before. For example, what was going on the minds of the Jewish World War I veterans while World War II was happening, or how it was for little Jewish kids when their parents were sent away, how they had to rely on strangers sometimes to survive without any clear idea of what was really going on. It draws attention to this innocence and poignancy about being a child in this time period. And moving on, I like all of the storylines, even though some of them were secondary plot lines. And since the Great War is my favorite time period of all times, I really like how some veterans from that period were shown to still be affected and haunted by what happened 20 or so years before. And also, Charlotte Gray was a funny case for me because I love spoilers. I always like watching a movie and then reading the book. I like the details that make the book different from the film. And yet, because it had been so long since I'd watched Charlotte Gray, I was quite surprised when I realized that they had such different endings. I didn't see that coming, and I'm not quite certain that I'd like that surprise. And I think that if I had to choose, I prefer the ending in the film. But I guess that in its own right way, the ending of the novel works too. Anyways, for the moment, this is all I have to say about Charlotte Gray. I hope you enjoyed this video, but please share with me your thoughts about it, the historical aspect of it, the plotline, the characters, adaptation, anything I said here. In the description box below, you can find the link to the novel's Goodreads page, as well as the movie's IMDB page. Thank you for watching my review of Charlotte Gray. I'm Carrera, the Mental Traveler, and I wish you a great day.